Saudi Cup, Crew Jeff Harrison, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Matthew?
I'm good, thanks. Happy belated birthday.
Why, thank you.
No worries.
39 spins around the sun.
Yeah, you celebrated with your online class, doing like 39 of every exercise. That was fun.
It was okay. It was
Yeah,
brutal. I was so tired.
yeah, same. Um,
Yeah.
so to start off, can you tell me a bit about the Single Moms Buddy program fundraising that you did for your birthday?
Oh, yeah. Basically, one of our members in Canada, his spouse, girlfriend, has been a single mother before, and she started like a Facebook group or something to help out um, single moms with kids because they were going to grocery stores and getting shamed for bringing their children, and they got to work, they got to stay home, they got to do everything at once. So she was just trying to put together like a buddy program where other women or men or whoever, I guess, would go and pick up groceries for them, or watch their kids or whatever. I don't know the exact details, but I suggested that maybe we can raise some money and do an online training seminar with the guys, Rob and Peter and myself. And we did that. We raised a couple $1,000, and it's not much, but it was good for a time like this, right?
Yeah,
To
for
get
sure.
a few $1,000
Nice. Um,
uh, into people's pockets that maybe needed a bit more.
yeah. Um, and could you tell me a bit about the New Era Combat Sports remote training group and your 30-day challenge you have going on?
Yeah. Well, we got the 4-week, 28-day challenge,
Okay,
and
my bad.
we've been pushing hard since I think we're the first gym of our kind, at least that I know of in this region. And I reached out to a bunch of my buddies as soon as we decided to do it, like, to just go online. Just don't hesitate, because sometimes hesitation could be the moment between winning and losing. And if you wait like another 2 weeks or whatever, it's not really going to pan out. So we were fortunate enough to go online like right away, because there's no time for hesitation. And some people were still trying to like put together camps for kids and like all that, and like, no, it's not safe, got to stay in, but we don't have to shut down, um, we don't have to quit and roll over quite just yet. So we went online right away. We've just been using the Facebook. I've been doing some FaceTimes with people, and we've been going Facebook Live. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of tech clients out in Canada, and they had some pretty strong warnings about Zoom and whatnot. So I've been doing it with the Facebook, and like, to be honest, in a time like this, like, it's done a good job of retaining current members that we've had, and I've also signing up people. Like, we've signed up people from Africa. We got a couple of people in Africa training with us.
That's crazy.
Asia, we got some people over in Europe. We got 8 provinces, a couple different states involved, and it's kind of been a blessing, because like the people that can't train with us, myself, Rob Thomas, Peter, some of our professionals, and blah blah blah, because of distance and because of borders and just convenience. Now it's like there's no there's no reason not to. So it's pretty neat, man. We've actually turned it into a little bit of a success story. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that we're signing up hundreds of people or anything, but
Yeah,
signing up like one person a day in a time like this is pretty incredible. So like, part sales, part good product, part just putting it out there and having a good reputation. It's been working so far, so I'm feeling pretty blessed.
nice. And you've had a lot of like guest instructors already. You had Ajan Burke, Sid
Yes,
Vanderpool.
sir. Yeah,
Who else have you had? Sorry.
we've had Jamie Wright from Whole Therapy. He's a
Oh
strength
yeah.
and conditioning coach that works with a lot of our professional athletes. and he actually sponsors them. And he's just a great guy. And that guy's like an encyclopedia of the human body. And very grateful to have him pop by. I'm working on a few other guest instructors. I myself, I'm gonna teach some virtual seminars in different academies and some of the different instructors that I work with and have been developing across Canada.
Sweet.
I'm gonna be doing some stuff with them. And yeah, man, it's a unique time, but if you don't adapt and you're not creative, you're just gonna fizzle away, right? And this is no time for like tourists. There's a lot of tourists, I think, in this game, and people that just kind of like float in and out. And when it's convenient, they're a Muay Thai coach, and when it's convenient, they're an MMA coach, and like all that bullshit, right? But like, this is the kind of time that's gonna eliminate the people and that don't really have that fighter's grit. You know what I mean? And it's gonna eliminate a lot of the market share, I believe, by the end of it. Because if you just close up your gym and like hope for the best and wait for a handout, like, man, it's like, what the fuck you doing, man? You're not a king, you're a peasant. You know, like you gotta go out and get your shit, man.
Totally. And you've been in a similar situation before. You had mentioned in a Facebook post earlier that you had been on house arrest for some time, but you were able to be proactive and take imperfect action, something you've been talking about a lot recently.
Yeah, it's actually a very cool story. It's mine somehow, but when I was in my early 20s, I did get in a lot of trouble, and I was just a lunatic a little bit for a couple of years there, and an angry kid doing angry kid things, and basically like living out an action movie, trying to be this and trying to be that. And I got caught. I got involved in a federal case. I don't really want to go into the details or whatever, but I was doing some pretty heinous shit and not really being a functioning member of society. And the best thing that ever happened to me was getting caught, because it led me to here, sitting in this amazing gym and having 3 of them and being able to talk to you and blah, blah, blah. It really was a wake-up call. Basically, I got a really empathetic judge. I was supposed to do 3 years in prison, but I did not. I got 24 months house arrest. And that is when I decided to change like full time and really commit to being a professional athlete, commit to being a professional coach. And I started Fight Factory, the first 519 Fight Factory, in my living room. And I brought Arjan Burke to live with us, or myself. I lived alone, right? And it was just me and him for months. And then, I trained a fight team. I started promoting shows. I promoted my first show about 4 months after sentencing started. So I spent the first couple months just like bummed out. Everyone that's doing lockdown right realizes it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? But at least you can still go for walks and stuff. Like, I was totally stuck in my house for everything but an hour a week. And then, man, we just started. I started promoting the show and started working towards like having a promotion company. I worked really closely with my PO, and just to eventually start going for runs or opening a gym or whatever. And it really turned into like, it was like court ordered Muay Thai for 2 years, because that was what I chose I was going to do. I didn't really want to get a real job, and I figured out a way to make it work. So literally every amount of success I have right now came from that period of time, that transitioning phase from being kind of like a lunatic involved in some things that I shouldn't have been involved in, into focusing my energies, being forced to stay in my house for 2 years, with exceptions, of course, to like go to fights or to eventually I could go for 45-minute runs 3 times a week. It was pretty crazy, everything I did, I had to ask. And then like, it was just so structured. Arjan Burke coming to live with me. It was really an amazing time, because it was like, you're up for how many 16 hours a day of Muay Thai. That's literally what I did. And like, I played around with music too, but like, I was generally just watching fights, writing about fights, like just going about fights. And it really like kickstarted my career and set the foundation for what I'm doing now.
Nice. And for people who don't know who Arjan Burke is, do you want to just give a quick background?
Oh man, Ajahn Burke is like he's the most technical Muay Thai practitioner I've ever seen. Um, you know, you go to his phone and like every time I try to bring him once a year now, right? And now that I can, now that I have a gym, and now that I'm kind of my own boss, right? I It's amazing. You look at it. He comes over. He shows you his phone. Oh, look, Sanchai is sending me a message. Oh, Asham Burkler. Like just like
Yeah.
Bokau. You know, he's cornered Bokau. He's trained Bokau. He's trained multiple Lumpini champions. He has the best winning record of any Thai ever. Just considering that he only lost 7 times and he avenged all those losses. So he's like 172-7.
That's
You know,
ridiculous.
just an amazing fighter. And more importantly than that, he's an amazing coach and he's an amazing human being. And he really holds like the purity of Muay Thai and what it should be to a higher standard. And you know, I'm very grateful. I was his first North American student, and I brought him to Canada for the first time in 2003 or 4, I think 4. And it just blossomed from there. I've been there. I fought for him. He came over for fights. Like he came to live with me when I was on house arrest. Jeffy, no mafia. Jeffy, no, no mafia. Okay, Muay Thai mafia. Okay, number 1 mafia. No. So yeah, you know, it's interesting. Crazy trip. I'm very blessed to have him, and also my other coach, Chris Q. Of course, he's a legendary Canadian coach, and he got me started. And you know, he's always been you know, a great coach and whatnot as well, right?
Nice. Yeah, I have to agree with you. Ajahn Burkhart's amazing. I also spent some
Yeah, you
time
fought for him,
training
eh?
with him. Yeah, I fought for him in Thailand. How did you guys first meet?
Well, I was 22, yeah, maybe 22. I was getting in said trouble at this time, right? And I needed a break. I needed to get out of just get away from things for a second or two, you know,
Yeah.
cool down a little bit. And I went to there was a first ever world meeting. You might have heard of the World Professional Muay Thai Federation,
Mm-hmm.
WPTMF. You know, some great Canadians have actually been world champions. Ashley Nickers was a world champion of WPTMF. You know, they have a lot of great champions from all over the world, and they held their inaugural meeting. So when it was constructed, you know, there was WMC, there was WBC, blah blah, and then they made this new one, which was going to be inclusive to the entire world. And Crew Chris and Anna Kirkham, the 2 people that I was learning under. Crew Chris, my teacher, and of course Anna was very involved in getting Muay Thai recognized. She had worked for the Toronto Olympic bid. She was an amazing sports promoter, and just a bureaucratic mind, unlike any other that I've seen in combat sports. And they couldn't go to Thailand, so they sent me as their voting member. So I get to go to the inaugural meeting when I was like 22, and it was amazing because I got to go and meet all the world leaders in Muay Thai when I was like that young, which is very incredible experience. But Burkler was the technical advisor for the WPTMF, and so he was there because it was all sponsored by Windy Sport, and he was at that time working for Windy Sport as an ambassador for Muay Thai. And we just kind of hit it off, and you know, Boyce Windy, the director of Windy, introduced me, and you know, we kind of hit it off, and we went to Pinsanchai camp and trained. And then he invited me after the meeting and after the voting was all done and stuff to go to go live in his house in Chonburi, where he was the head trainer at a camp called Panon Camp. So it was very cool because I was 23 and I got to go like train with like all the professionals and get in fights with those guys.
Yeah.
And you know, just get tossed around. You know, your first time in Thailand, like getting tossed around by 14-year-old kids. Like,
Oh
fuck,
yeah.
I thought it was tough, right? And then you know, I got to corner in some crazy stadiums, Channel 7, Omnoy. You know, when I was just a young man, and and get to go to like Lumpini and Raja with him, and you know, just like he's like Muhammad Ali walking around with him in Bangkok. It's like, oh, Buckler, you're on the sky train. Oh, Buckler, oh, like he's a legend, right? So
Yeah.
it was a very, very cool experience. And then I came home and I immediately started planning his first trip to Canada. So the rest, as they say, is history. And there's a very, very strong connection between Burke Gym and Jeff Harrison, as it was his first North American student.
Nice. So you're gonna bring him back after all this is over, hopefully?
Yeah, I was supposed to bring him in May. We do Canadian tours once a year.
Okay.
Or like Ontario, I guess, and Quebec. I got some gyms from I got 4 or 5 provinces interested this time around. And my goal is to bring a higher standard of technical advisory, like the kind that Ajahn Burke can bring to Canada. Because when Burke first came, it was very, very shocking because there was Muay Thai as it was, and there was good technique, and there was the Fady family, and there was the Siam number 1 under Ajahn Suchart roots and all that stuff. But there was never like Lumpini level, like world class, like incredible technique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was still very, very developmental in 2003 or 2004. I can't remember the year when he first came. But you know, no one like just the different things he would bring in the clinch, the different training tactics. You know what I mean? It was a game changer, I believe. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's cool how everything works out, you know?
Yeah. Transitioning to IFMA World Championships 2019, what was your experience like coaching for that and staying at FA Group?
FA Group was cool. It wasn't like a mind-blowing experience for me technically. You know, they have some of the best clinchers. Like watching Yotin was like fucking crazy. That guy's a beast, man.
Yeah,
his clinch was so interesting. Just the way they use the head and the head pressure was really cool to see. But it's a very, very different system than I'm used to. And you know, I picked up a couple cool tricks for sure. But it wasn't really about like going to train and learn. It was about going to win medals at the IFMA Worlds. And IFMA is very, very different. It's like they spell it different, right? It's Muay Thai without 2 words. It's like 1 word. They spell it differently. But Muay Thai IFMA is a very different sport from Muay Thai professional.
For sure.
You know, the kind that FA Group would be training for to fight in the stadiums, right? So it was cool. You know, you got what's the guy named Diesel? Diesel?
Crew Diesel.
Yeah, he was a badass, man. Good paddle there. You know, it was awesome to watch them train. It was like any other Thai camp that I've been to. Kick, clinch.
Yeah.
They clinch a lot, man. You spent time there too.
40 minutes, like before every
just to
training
start,
session.
50 push-ups, then go hit the pads.
Yeah,
it was kind of backwards of any other camp that I've been to. Like they clinched first, but you know, it was a very unique experience. But again, it was like we were all in the camp, like with the pros at one point, but then they have this huge other fitness facility, and it was like after a few days where we're all tripping over each other in the tiny pro camp, I was like, okay, let's go. I made a choice as a coach. I'm like, let's go to the bigger, nicer fitness facility and get some work in for the Canadian team, because like it's just not getting done here. And I literally was holding the first couple of days I was there, like I was losing like 10, 12 pounds a day because I held 4 or 5 rounds for, I think it was 9 different fighters. Like it was fucking crazy, man. And like everyone was waiting around. So we went to the fitness camp, and I got two Thai trainers to help me, which was good. You know, in fight style, and FA Group provided them. And one of them was actually from Pinson-Chai camp, which was cool. And yeah, it was cool, man. They helped me out. It became much better once we got to the different facility, which was much more modern and spacious. And yeah, it was just, and we could focus on the team and focus on strategy. And like, I'm not like, I was Team Canada head coach, and I believe that I'm a great Muay Thai coach. And I believe I've done a lot of things, but you're not going to walk into a room with a legend like Crew Diesel and like Yotin training and all his guys that have fought like 300 times and blah, blah, blah. And you're not going to just start fucking barking orders like I'm used to. You know what I mean? There had to be that level of respect. So in the smaller camp, I had a hard time finding my voice, which is a huge part of my coaching. So when we got to our own facility, it was like game on, and then we got everyone switched on. You know what I mean? And we went and we won a lot of medals this year or last year, which was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I never actually got to check out their new facility. Both times I went to FA Group, it hadn't been built yet, but
yeah, it's nice.
It's very pretty nuts. Like they have like 20 people clinching all in like one ring, people smashing into each other, and pretty hectic.
Stupid, man.
Yeah, and then Crew Diesel, amazing.
And no one really knew like what there was. Sorry.
I was gonna say Crew Diesel's amazing.
Cool.
He's like he won. He was the trainer of the year a few years back for Thailand, and produced. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Fetch, right?
No? Yeah, and also.
Oh
man, I'm having a blank right now, but Pet Boone. That's who I was trying to think of.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, crazy. Anyways, tell me a bit about your decision to leave OAMA and start your own gym.
Woo! Well, you know, I'm grateful for the time that I spent with Team Hensel Gracie Ottawa and OAMA, for sure, man. Like, we just didn't see eye to eye on some things. And, you know, I see now that I'm a business guy, I guess, right? Like I see why some decisions were made, but I wasn't always on board with some things that happened there. I really can't talk about it, unfortunately. Okay. But you know, just there was a lot of differences. There was a lot of differences in opinions, and you know, oh shit,
lost it.
Decline.
There we go.
Yeah, someone's calling me, man. Sorry.
No worries.
Piss off. Yeah, you know, there were a lot of differences in values and just what should be prioritized, I believe. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And what was your experience like kind of starting your own gym though? And
oh man, it's been the best thing. It's been the most fun. It's been a grind. I was like born for this, man. You know, like I love grinding, I love working. And there was something missing after I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting in 2012. And, you know, working for someone else and having someone else reap all the rewards of your hard work for 15, 16 years doesn't always sit well, especially when you're a guy like me and, you know your worth, right? So seeing the guys come together and make this thing and building it up together as a team, you know, it's been a combination of 20 years of work and building a reputation and standing for what you know we believe in, and you know, myself and Peter and Rob and Matthew, Mateo, you know, what a great squad of people. You know, we got obviously all backed by my partner Phil, who's just a very cunning and intuitive businessman, and it's awesome, man. Like I love it. What can you say? You know, it's been 2 years over. You know, 2 years is not a lot of time. 2 years, 3 locations. You know, and the membership's growing. The membership's what it's like. It would take people 10 years to get to what we're at. So, just keep on grinding, man. Keep on plugging and keep on offering a good product. I think that's the number one. You know what I mean? Is just making sure that the product's always going to be there.
For sure.
And after that, marketing, making sure that people know the product is good. And that's it, man. Just focusing on those 2 things, right?
Are you at your Maryville location right now?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I remember.
I am. Yeah, I'm about to teach an online class.
Sweet. I remember when like before you guys even first opened, before you even had the mats down, you kind of set out an invitation to some of your students to train whenever they wanted, and that's kind of how I switched over from OEMA to New Era, train on the
Yeah,
concrete
well, I had
floor.
to be super careful because I was there was a bit of like paperwork and legality and stuff that again I don't really want to get into, but
Yeah,
I had to be super careful. But once I left and kind of put it out there that we were open, a lot of people came over and trained with us, and
yeah,
the results have been nothing short of phenomenal.
nice. And do you want to just talk a bit about Fight Factory and what you guys have done in the last couple of years with your shows in Lansdowne?
Yeah, man, what a crazy time, man. It's crazy because like this has been going like this just to go off on a tangent, this quarantine or whatever the fuck we're calling it, what's it called, lockdown, shutdown,
Yeah,
something. It's been almost time. It's almost given me time to reflect that I've never really had before. Because there's always been something. There's been a fight every 3 months. There's been this. There's been that. Then it's been like coaching. Then it's like, oh, I gotta open a business. Then blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's actually given me time to reflect and look back and put on the glasses and like look behind me and be like, holy shit, that was a that was a crazy 20 years, man. Sorry, what was your question?
I just wanted to you could give some some insight into
Fight Factory.
Fight Factory.
Yeah. So now we decided to, because very competitive, man. And there's all these like shows at little small venues and blah blah blah. And like to me, man, competition is everything. It's always been my life, man. I love competing. I love fighting. I love competing to see if I can beat somebody. Even if I don't beat them, I loved it. Because at least you're testing yourself, right? So like when we brought about Fight Factory, it was like, okay, there's all these shows here. And I'll be honest, like Sasha inspired me with his show because he did it right at the War Museum, and amazing show.
Art of
and then
War.
we brought Art of War, exactly. But I'm like, man, we got to bring it back to like a bigger venue. And I had been involved in one of the shows that one of the throwdowns was at Lansdowne, and I thought it was a beautiful venue. And like, let's be honest, man. I've been doing this for a long time, and like the first throwdown in Ottawa, like the first ever Muay Thai show, like I was brought up for 3 weeks to pretty much like help, OEMA and Nick and all these guys run the show. And that's just the way it is. Train, help the guys train, help. That's actually how I actually ended up in Ottawa, was constantly, hey, will you come help train this guy? This guy's got to fight. This guy's got a title fight, Either myself or Crew Chris, we come up. And for Throwdown, it was like, okay, you're going to come up, you're going to, because I'd already done like 4 or 5 successful shows, and I helped them do that, right? But yeah, man, I wanted to bring it to another level of not just making money, like putting it in like a venue that's kind of like, I don't know. I wanted to do it right. I wanted to have lights. I wanted to have great fights. I wanted to have a big crowd. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to make it a spectacle. I wanted to bring, Tomo on board or just do it myself. Like that was a blessing to know Nara and have some mutual connections and stuff. But yeah, I wanted to make it bigger because I am competitive, than what's been done before. And I really, really believe we accomplished that. We put over 1,200 people in all 3 shows. The fights have been phenomenal. Just the ambience with the bottle service and like whatever. And I believe the revenue and just has been, unrivaled as well. I've been doing this a long time, and some people are like, oh, it's not about the money. It's not about it's about the money, man. If you're in business and you're saying it's not about the money, you're just lying. And if you're not lying to your customers, you're lying to yourself. You need to do well.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you see all these people, oh, we just want to help you. It's like, yeah, you want to help people, but you also, if you're in business and not for profit, stop lying. You want to make money, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I get like, I know that helping people is important, and I know that it's like, but at the same time, it's business. You know what I mean? I want to help. I want to give the fighters an amazing thing. I want to do this and do this, and I want to have big crowds and like whatever. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to do it for free because if you're good at something, you should never do it for free. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
I think as a business, Fight Factory has done pretty well, and yeah, man, it's cool. I don't know.
And you guys have
What
also
can you say?
given back a lot. I know you guys donated to Wounded Warriors, right?
Yeah, man, twice now. And then the second show kind of helped out with regardless. This was before I was invited to be Team Canada national coach. We were going to donate some money to just the coaches and the coaching staff to go to IFMA. So, kind of worked out well that I was the coach. That wasn't the plan, but it helped out with the trip for Thailand and support Team Canada in 2019.
Nice. And you're talking a bit about IFMA rules earlier. How do you feel about IFMA rules? I know it's more like point-based and kind of keeping the fighters safe. Do you prefer more traditional scoring?
I like it all, man. I think IFMA's great for a number of reasons. It's a higher volume. It's good if someone wants to get into like a glory or like that. At the same time, it does make sense. It takes the gambling out of it. A lot of traditional Muay Thai is based on the gambling system.
Yeah.
And that's why certain strikes cost or are count for more and this and that and the other thing. It's an Olympic recognized sport now. And it's not just a point system. You can't just go out like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it has to be still a meaningful shot, like it has to move the person. You can't just go out and like flail like it's not like point fighting or anything as karate would be. Like it does come down to meaningful shots, which was actually unfortunate for our fighter Taylor, because she fought France to go on to the gold medal match. And I thought she'd won the fight just from volume alone. But sometimes judges, they were scoring the bigger shots. So it's not like it's totally different. It's just punches count, and punches count a little bit more. Anywhere with a meaningful shot. So if you kick someone in the leg and it lands, it's gonna count as much as a body kick. Or if you punch someone in the face, it's going to count as much as like a nice knee to the body.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different, but I like it because like for me, like I'm not very tribal about anything when it comes to combat. I love MMA. I love Vale Tudo. Like people ask me my favorite style, it would just be like putting two people in a field, like watching them fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where there's no rules at all. But for me, like the boxing should count, and the clinching of Muay Thai, the boxing technique of kickboxing, and some Western boxing. Obviously, like all the defensive mechanisms that you see in Muay Thai is amazing, and then just striking, man, just fight. The best style of fighting is fighting. There's stuff in every single martial art that can't work. And it drives me crazy to see people so tribal about things, making fun of other instructors and making fun of other styles, especially, I love BJJ, man. I've been doing BJJ for a long time. I trained, my first class was taught by Roger Gracie as a brown belt in 2002,
Nice.
and in Brazil at Baja, right? But like, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. But like, there's a lot of guys in that sport that are just like, oh, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Krav Maga, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you go pull half guard in a street fight, bro. You'll see what. Let's see what happens. Like you got to be open. You got to be open-minded, man. Tribalism is the end. Do not limit yourself. The tale of Jeet Kune Do, man. You gotta like respect all things and take all things and learn from all things. And I think there's a lot to be said for like. People might hate on me, right? But there's a lot to be said for like watching Anderson Silva, like trying to learn from like a Jeet Kune Do guy like Dan Sananto or like Steven Seagal when he was the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything can work, guys. Hand trapping can work. Wing Chun can work. Like, man, there's a lot of people out there that talk a lot of shit, man. I used to be one of them, but like over time, I realized that that everything works. Sorry, what was your question?
I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but I agree with you. Like Ferguson, for
I have ADD
example.
and pugilistic dementia. So.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, man. Look at that guy. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Look at that guy.
Using
Fuck, I wanted to see
a
him fight,
wooden
man.
dummy.
He would have sliced. He would have. Yeah, man. He would have. I love that shit, man. Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
I was very, very fortunate. Chris was also a black belt in karate. He was also a black belt in Filipino stuff. So we always like were
Knife
working
fighting,
stick
right?
work and like, yeah, man. We did a lot of
Yeah.
cool stuff, and like always reading.
Nice.
Just anything can work, bro. I'm really fascinated now by like disarms and knife stuff and like all that cool shit, man. Because like that's real, man. Wow.
Yeah, I did kung fu before I ever did Muay Thai for a year, like down the street
Where
from
did you
your
do your
gym.
kung fu? Oh yeah, Feng Shun Do.
It's a Shaolin Tiger Kung Fu, like right across the street from me, actually.
Oh, like right there.
Like yeah,
Do
by
you
the
know what, man?
graveyard
We
there.
almost went. We almost went into that building right at the front there, but they had like a no compete clause in their lease, so we couldn't put New Era in that big kind of like castle looking thing. So we came here instead. Yeah. Crazy, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
Got to learn how to use nunchucks and staff and all that. It was fun. And then
fuck yeah, bro! It all makes you better, man.
Yeah, you actually taught my first ever Muay Thai class at the grand opening for Awama Barhaven.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that.
Formerly known, the artist formerly known as Awama Barhaven.
Yeah.
Now the Martial
Barhaven
Arts Center
Academy of Martial something.
Barhaven or something,
yeah. Yeah, and I was partnered with
whatever.
I was partnered with
switch the words around.
with Yuki, and I remember seeing you kick the pads,
Nice.
and I was like, you could definitely break some bones with those kicks, and then I was hooked on Muay Thai ever since.
Yeah, man, Muay Thai is great. That's crazy that you only have trained that long. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna fight again?
Yeah, I want to fight again. Probably after I finish my degree. I'm thinking I got another 2 years left.
Yeah. Get that wrestling in. Just go MMA.
Yeah, I want to.
Man, MMA is the best because like when you can like pin somebody down on the ground and like elbow their face and you like feel them like you feel their like will leaving through their other ear. It's like, yeah. It's amazing, man. I love MMA so much.
Speaking
it's
of
like
MMA,
my true passion.
Speaking of MMA, you have your pro team MMA training that you're just launching now online, right?
Yeah. That is, it's going to be good to add a fourth class every single day at the New Era remote training community. PM for details. But not only that, it's good to get the guys in that we're supposed to have fights and that we're trying to make a run at the UFC. We're not trying to do anything smaller than that, right? So we got Alex O'Neill and Matarlo. They both were scheduled to fight actually last weekend. Just heartbreaking that didn't happen. They both had huge fights against like guys with much better records and bigger. But that's my style of coaching. It's just going after the big ones, right? And Mateo had just fought. He faced an undefeated prospect.
I saw that live.
Like who's gonna be the future? Yeah, that's right. Who's gonna be the future of the bantamweight division? He absolutely dominated. Yeah. And just Alex O'Neill, man. I'm telling you, bro. Don't sleep on Alex O'Neill. He's the guy he's 4-0 now. He's got like 15 minutes each fight. Like he's only had hard decisions.
Yeah.
And like some people are like, oh, he's not a finisher, bro. Yeah, but he's fit. Every experience like that. If you fight for 15 minutes, man, you get better. You get better as a person.
Yeah.
Not only as an athlete, not only cardiovascular wise, not only do you like tap into different strength that you've never tapped into going 110% like that, but like you also tap into like just like this belief in yourself that you can do it. So he's the kind of guy like he's just I'd say he's our most complete athlete because he's an absolute savage in wrestling. He's a savage on the ground. He's a savage on the feet. And like I'm so excited to see Alex O'Neill just keep, he's pretty humble, you know. I'm much more brash than him, right? But he just keep picking off guys. We got Matar, we got Mateo, we got Cole Crossway, like Mirza, like, man, you don't want to get touched by Mirza.
Nope.
Like, fuck, he will crush your face bone, man. It's like, we got all these guys. I'm super excited, and they're all 20 something. And there's a huge future right now in New Era Combat Sports, and we're putting in the work and trying to develop them. And you know, it's really rewarding to just see them go in there and struggle through the workout so they can just coast through the fight, right? Which is awesome.
Yeah, Alex, didn't he play in the OHL or a game in the NHL or something like that?
He played for the Islanders. Yeah,
That's
he's actually
crazy.
played games in the NHL.
Nice.
Yeah, he like led the OHL with like penalty minutes or something. The guy's a monster, man. Like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. You know, but yeah, he's teaching. Mateo's teaching. Matar's teaching, and these are three guys that you know, like who's Matar's loss at featherweight? He lost to Charles Jourdain, who just knocked out like Superboy in the UFC. Like,
yeah,
you know, he's something special. Matar is like the talent. Just like
he's got a
unreal talent. Like,
he's got a crazy highlight reel.
Yeah, he's got a couple crazy knockouts, but you know, just an unreal talent, and his work ethic has really caught up to his natural ability. And I think that's the problem with a lot of fighters, is that, you know, they forget about grit. They forget what's really going to help you, and that's deservance. You know, and just being natural at something doesn't mean you deserve it. It just means you're natural at it. Working for something and putting in time and putting in effort and putting in sacrifice makes you deserve things. And that's really, really key to having success and like an elevated level of success, I believe, in whatever combat sport or endeavor that you take on in life, is just, you know, deserving it. You know, I learned this at an early age because I was like a competitive piano player, and the more you practice, the more trophies you would get. Crazy, right? But the synchronicity is real. If you practice something and get good at something, and someone doesn't practice as much as you will probably beat them. It's just time. It's just reps. You know, obviously there's other things like, you know, like there's other things at play, right? But when it comes down to it, and you got two, you know, relatively the same athletes, it's going to come down to the person that puts in more like work, man.
Yeah.
And outworks and outwills the other person.
Cool. And earlier you had mentioned Muay Thai has recently been recognized by the International Olympic Committee. When do you think we're going to get to see Muay Thai in the Olympics?
They were saying 24. Now the Olympics is going to be kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's postponed, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. They were saying Paris, and then I guess what happens is that it's up to the country, the host, to decide who gets in. So like France, they have good Muay Thai. They have really good professional Muay Thai, but they don't have the best IFMA team in the world, you know? Like, if you ever saw the Olympics go to Thailand or this or that, or like, then yeah, it'd be a shoo-in, right? If you saw Russia, maybe, but Russia's good at everything. So like, I don't know. Morocco's okay. Turkey's pretty good. You know, like there's a bunch of and the USA actually might be the next great hope, because I believe it's coming to LA after Paris. I believe. I'm not sure. I mean, I might be speaking out of turn. I believe LA might be the next big hope for you know, having Muay Thai actually in the Olympics, because America is really doing some crazy things right now. Rami Ibrahim and his gang of coaches, like some of there's girls with like 7 fights. They beat Chomini, man. I trained Ashley Nichols to fight Chomini in Glory, and Chomini's legit. And like this girl from America, just like this like teenage girl, just like kicked the shit out of her. It was like, what is happening with these Americans, man? This and it used to be like, no offense to my American homies, it used to be like you go and you get America, you'd be like, yeah, sick. You know what I mean? You get to fight in America, because Muay Thai was kind of like a little bit behind. But now it's like, woo, they're doing some crazy shit, man. It's awesome.
Speaking of America, how do you feel about Lion Fight? I know you've had a few fighters fight on that promotion.
I like working with Lion Fight. It's a big promotion. They got good fights. You know, things didn't go well with Lion Fight really. The last couple fights, we got Mirza. Obviously, like that was a mistake. Like everything you learn, right? That was a mistake on our part. But he wanted to fight on CBS Sports, so he put on 20 or 30 pounds to go fight at heavyweight, which, you know, he's a natural 185er. So props to his balls, but maybe I should have intervened in that one. You know, and then Regan just got cut in her fight. She was fighting for a title against Magdalene Alvarez. And again, the girl didn't make weight, and it was something like, whereas if if I was there, her Taylor go down, right? But if I was there, I wouldn't have probably let the fight happen because we had a stringent agreement. Like, you know, like I was asking for 105. They were like, oh, 108. And it's like 110. Okay, not a pound over. The girl misses weight. It's like, fuck, man. Right? Yeah. What happens? Bigger girl bullies. It's like just like an elbow is not, there's no catharsis to that. It's like, you got an elbow is a valid technique. But at the same time, it's like a cut's a shitty way to lose a title fight, especially in the first round, or I think it was early in the second or whatever. Brutal. Whatever. We'll be back. Yeah. That's it, man.
Sweet. Well, I think I should probably let you go so I can get ready for your class at 4:30.
Sure, yes, sir. Sounds good, man. Sweet. And who watches this?
Yeah, people, I guess. So far it's on YouTube, and then I'm working on trying to get it on the Apple Podcast. That's first one came out about like 5 days ago. It's got like 100-ish views, but then the one that came out yesterday has already got like 50, so it's growing. So
okay, cool, man.
To come. Yeah.
That's neat.
Thanks for coming,
bro.
on.
And it's for like just people that are interested in combat sports, eh?
Yeah, just something for fun.
Yeah. Nice, man. That's great.
Well,
good
thanks a
job,
lot,
bro.
Saudi Cup.
Okay, no problem. Saudi Cup. We'll see you at 4:30, buddy.
See you at 4:30. Bye.
Okay, nice chatting with you.